Okay, now that the screws are taken out, I can remove the power supply and put it to the side for now. Okay. Now, I'm going to take the front panel off so I can gain clearance for installing things like a front fan, disk drives, and other things. In most chassis, to remove the front panel, you simply push from the bottom, push outwards. Sometimes you might want to look to make sure there are no clips that you have to release on the inside. This one you just push from the bottom, and the front panel comes off. Now I have to snake out these cables. And now we have the front panel off. So I'm going to set that off to the side here. Okay, and then finally, I'm going to remove the other side panel. Most chassis you can remove, one side panel in order to install the motherboard. But if you can remove the other side panel, you get much more access for putting screws into the drives and things like that. So I'm going to take that panel off here. Okay, now we have a case really ready for me to begin assembling. It's as bare as possible. I've got the easiest access to everything. Now, a couple of other points to make. I said I was going to use a different power supply, so that's something you need to consider in advance. If you're going to use a different power supply, make sure you have it. I'm also going to use a different fan. Traditionally, the fans that just come with a case, even though this is a 120 millimeter fan, which is nice, it's a little bit noisier than I would like. It's also not necessarily a dual ball bearing fan or a hydrostatic bearing fan. So what I recommend is purchasing higher quality fans in order to install in the case when you assemble it. So at this point, we're ready to continue the build process by installing the motherboard and other components. Okay, now I'm ready to install the disk drives and the cooling fans. Now, I had mentioned previously that because I'm going to be installing 4 drives in a RAID 1.0 array, with 4 drives in close proximity at the front of the case, you can get a little bit of heat there. So I'm going to add a cooling fan to the front of the case. I'll also install the cooling fan into the bracket in the back of the case. Now let's do the front fan first. In order to do that, I'm going to take a 92 millimeter fan that I had purchased separately, and I need to make sure that I've got the airflow flowing into the case in this front fan. So the arrow direction is this way, and I'm going to set it into place and use some of the fan screws that came with the case in order to secure it. Okay, all the 4 screws are now securing the front fan to the case, and I'll snap the back fan into the bracket. Now again, I want to look for the directional arrow. In this case, I want to make sure that the air is blowing out the back of the